Greetings from the studios of Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. This is the fifth consecutive week, folks, the fifth consecutive week under the Uncle Triple C era from this prestigious show that you call, that I call, that everybody calls Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. Because, folks, there is nothing better than at noon, right before Crown Jewel, because you're looking at the jewel of same. That's right, your uncle. I have a new producer. Hello, how are you? It's awesome. Unlike that jackass producer that I had before, but that's another topic. Anyway, before I even get to my co-host, I just want to say, I want to take a little stench. The reason I have this Lysol is because for the fifth straight week, that hot garbage phenomenal one is not here. He will never be on your screen because your uncle is here to host this prestigious show. But, again, I do have a co-host. He is, of course, the staple, the conscience of Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. He is my co-host, the limousine riding, jet flying, wheeling dealing, son of a gun. And I tell you all the time, people, he talks too damn much. I will only give him one clap, and his name is the Peeps Nate. Hey Nate, look at that. I give him one clap, and he still can't even come on my screen. Well, you see, folks, this is why I feel like I need a co-host, a new co-host. Because why? There's nobody like your uncle here on Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. There he is.
Yes.
You get no claps, zero. Here's
yes.
The
there we go. I give you 2 claps and a whoo. Yeah, technical difficulties. That's what it's about. I guess I need to hire your producer then, huh?
Well, I have a great producer.
Yes.
Unlike the one I had the last couple of weeks, but I have a great producer. He knows what to do. I don't have to say too much. So yes. But Nate, welcome here on Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. Nate, next time, fix your damn internet, please. Look at that. He can't even talk. I can't believe this.
Yes.
Come on, Nate. What are the handles here on Saturday Afternoon's Main Event?
Yeah. Once again, the technical difficulties. I think Tony Khan is watching over us right now. Maybe that's what the issue is. But I digress. Anyway, there's your first.
Interesting.
There's your first.
All right, Nate. So please give us the handles here on Saturday Afternoon's Main Event where you can all reach us or reach me, your uncle.
Yes. If you want to reach that guy, you know, it's, of course, all of our handles are available to you. If you want to get us on Instagram at Saturday Afternoons _Main Event. If you want to get us on Twitter or X or whatever the heck it's called now, they keep changing the name of it all the time. It's Saturday Main. TikTok is Saturday Afternoons ME. If you're on if you're watching us on Twitch, if you're on YouTube, just type in the name, follow the links there, and you will be able to watch our show here as we do every Saturday with the 3 tenets of a great Saturday afternoon, which is laughs, good times, and all the rest.
Exactly, all the wrestling news possible, Nate. But before we even get started, of course, this is tradition because another week without that hot garbage phenomenal one. So it is cheers to me, your uncle.
Yes. And while he partakes in his regular soft drink, we will continue on with what we do best. We're not going to keep you guys long because we know today is a premium live event. We have Crown Jewel to talk about. So we're going to try to keep this as tight as possible so you can get your wrestling news and then we can get you right out to your premium live event. So there we go.
Yes, indeed. Well, you hear that music, and Nate, that music only means one thing and one thing only. That is Nate. Figure that. He doesn't even know what to say. Come on, Nate. How many times I paid you big money to get the job done? Well, folks, it's called Wrestling Crash Course. So, Nate, the first topic and probably the only topic here on Wrestling Crash Course, because this is going to be a Crash Course show today. So, like you said, we're going to try to get you guys, ready for Crown Jewel in a few minutes. But first things first, Wrestling Crash Course, the first topic and the only topic is the WWE, the latest roster cuts. And as we found out yesterday, there were 3 cuts, WWE. Nate, your thoughts, please. Please tell the fans if you're just waking up, if you didn't know what happened yesterday. Here are the 3 cuts from yesterday from WWE.
Yes, and that was Baron Corbin, which I think threw everybody off. Corbin, Indy Hartwell, and Tegan Nox. Tegan Nox has been in the company for quite some time. She came up through NXT, was in the Mae Young Classic to showcase what skills she had, and she had a string of injuries. She's torn up both knees, took time off to recover, was able to come back. She took she had a year off, got hurt, and then injured the other knee, which was kind of unfortunate. So we had to deal with that. And she just couldn't seem to get on track and get any traction with that. As far as Indy Hartwell, I think to me, of the 2 women that were on this release list, kind of shocked me because it looked like they were doing something with her, maybe potentially reestablishing the Way from the old NXT days, and we remember that faction. And of course, Baron Corbin, which I think stunned most people because Corbin has been in the WWE for quite some time. So I don't think anybody expected that to happen, even though they had they had trouble trying to figure out what they were going to do with him. They then put him in a tag team with Braun Breaker after them feuding for a little bit. They get together, they get into a feud, and then they become a team. And then that looked like it got a lot of traction. And I think basically what happened is he did everything he can or everything he could to get Breaker over and elevate him. And then it looked like the WWE didn't have anything else to do with him afterwards. And I think that's kind of when he fell victim. And that's unfortunately how this business can go.
Yeah. First of all, let's talk about Baron Corbin. Number one, was a little surprised. I believe his contract is coming up. Well, it was interesting because I thought that Baron Corbin would, always have a place to me on the roster. But then again, we haven't seen him. So we have not seen Corbin at all for the past few months. Really, for this whole year, I don't remember seeing Corbin at all on our TV screen. So apparently, they probably had, like you said, they probably had nothing for him creatively, and they moved on from Baron Corbin. Never want to see anybody lose their jobs. Tegan Nox. I can't say I'm totally surprised. Her value has diminished. She came back from 2 ACL surgeries over the past couple of years, and they really didn't know what to do with her. We'll see what happens in her future.
Yes.
Indy Hartwell, now granted, I know people may think like, well, wow, she got released yesterday, but yet you saw her in a tag team match on Friday Night SmackDown last night. But again, Friday Night SmackDown was taped last week in your hometown, Nate, of Brooklyn, New York. And again, I'm going to still say to this day, Nate, that the greatest borough in New York City is my hometown of Queens, New York, Nate.
Yes.
And by the way, what, Nate?
I've had to hear that for so many years. It's almost seared into my memory. So yes.
I'm glad, Nate. I'm glad.
Yes.
And also, another staple should be here on Saturday afternoon's main event is that whether it's Hook by Crook, and that speaking of Crook, that piece of hot garbage, not phenomenal one, the biggest piece of Red Hook Brooklyn Trailer Park trash, Taz, you still suck because you're from Brooklyn.
Tell us how you really feel, Triple C. Tell us how you really feel.
Hey, it's Uncle to you.
Okay. Uncle Triple C, excuse me.
You are.
Yes. But
So,
unfortunate with the talent roster turnover. The WWE has a lot of wrestlers on their roster. If you think that these three are going to be the end of it, we start to get toward WrestleMania season, we're headed toward Survivor Series, there are going to probably be a lot more names, and probably names that are going to shock you. So we're not privy to what those may be, but this is just a prediction or a guess of what we think is going to happen. And usually when there's smoke, there's fire. So there's going to probably be more releases on the horizon.
yeah, releases are never good. So we wish those three, as WWE would say, we wish them, the best of luck in all their future endeavors. So,
Yes.
Of course, hopefully they will land on their feet somewhere else. And we wish them the best of luck. And obviously there will be more roster cuts, I'm sure, like, as you alluded to before. So that takes care of that. Nate, so before we get to some of the programming, thank you. My producer, thank you for zooming in and zooming out. You are such a wonderful presence here on Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. That takes care of the Wrestling Crash Course, Nate. Again, this peeps Nate. I am Uncle Triple C here on Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. I know you guys, have seen 411 in the past, but he'll be back sometime late November. I guarantee that. But anyway, leading from that, Nate, now, there's one thing that is, I feel that is so important that I feel like that we need to talk about, Nate, and
Okay.
I think that it's something that we, really don't discuss as much. And to me, I feel like it's very important. And the thing I want to discuss is the fact that my boy, Dom Mysterio is the number one contender for the world's heavyweight title. I don't care what happens today at Crown Jewel. My boy, Dom Mysterio, who beat Damian Priest fair and square on Monday Night Raw. And what? Listen, you talk about what a sore loser Damian Priest is. He is a sore loser.
Sore loser.
Dom defeated him fair and square in the middle of the ring, and that sore loser just decided to attack my boy. But it doesn't matter, because Dom is the number one contender, and now he is going to become the new world's heavyweight champion in the future, Nate. Thoughts?
I know you've been basically salivating, waiting to talk about that, because I figured when I saw this on Raw, I was like, here we go. It's going to be a crazy week. But that's one of the things that you, being the Dominic Mysterio fan that you are, you're going to make sure that everybody knows that Dominic is getting that title shot. Now, the question is, when should he get the title shot? Is it going to be soon? Is it going to be a little bit later on? When do you think he should get this title shot?
I feel in 2 weeks. I feel 2
weeks.
Main event Raw in 2 weeks before Survivor Series. So I think that would be the time to definitely have that match. Although I kind of feel like Finn Balor's a little saucy, lately, but we'll take care of Judgment Day business. Only my boy Dom Mysterio can only.
I'll give you a better idea of when Dominic should get this title shot. What if he holds off on this title shot until Saturday night's main event? Let him go ahead into that. Give it a month. Let it simmer. Let him build up the fact that he's won this number one contender spot while he kind of clears his feud that's going on with Damian Priest. And then he can go ahead and say, I'm going into the first Saturday night's main event in years. And I'm going to be in the main event, maybe getting a championship match. Who knows? So maybe that's an idea. Just an idea. See, you can't say I don't work with you here. So
Nate, I mean, for once, I'll give you a little bit, just a little bit of credit for that thought. That's not a bad idea. Saving it for Saturday night's main event, considering this is Saturday afternoon's main event. Yeah, I do like that.
Yes.
I don't know if they can hold off for all that time, but you know what? You can build towards that. I mean, Saturday night's main event is a marquee show. I mean, they're bringing it back. Granted, it's gonna be on network television, and I guess what better way to have the heat with Dom. You're not gonna turn Walter babyface. So yeah,
There you go.
I can see that, Nate. I definitely can see that. We'll see. We'll get to the
Yes.
predictions. We'll get to the predictions. We'll get to the your questions. We're gonna get to all of that again. This is Saturday afternoon's main event. Peeps Nate here, me Uncle Triple C here. Nate, Rodney P. He says, lower your voices, please. You're too damn loud. And by the way, your breath stinks. Use mouthwash and get Peeps new internet. He's still using cheap ass Boost Mobile.
Of course.
Man, Nate. I mean, you got people just trashing you, Nate. I mean, he's telling you to lower your voice and you're too damn loud and your breath stinks, Nate. I mean, Nate. I pride myself on being, saying, a show of integrity, a show of clean proportions here on Saturday afternoon's main event, Nate.
I understand. And so goes forth the person there trying to get under the skin of Nate. I'm actually much stronger than that. Much stronger than that. But then again, we are continuing on. We got more news. We got more show. And I'll tell you this. As the way that this show is going, as far as what we have later on, as far as getting to old school and getting to all of the other stuff involved, I'm going to get even louder. So you're going to have to bear with me on that one.
Wow. I mean,
yes.
Hey, Rodney P. In other words, you stink. So,
yes.
Corey, Mr. Corey Richmond, he says, blood money.
not a PLE, a BME. Wow, that's actually a good one.
and we'll be definitely getting into the blood money event. Crown Jewel. We'll be getting to the predictions later on in the show. Again, we have your questions also. So again,
yes.
folks, believe you me, I mean, this is going to be the show leading up to Crown Jewel, which will start in about 40 minutes or so. So we'll get to that. Nate, so your thoughts on Raw and SmackDown before we get to the all the other stuff, and we'll get to AEW in a second because I felt that AEW was a strong show today. I mean, on Wednesday. But Nate, your thoughts overall on Raw and SmackDown?
Raw, as always, was strong going in, knowing that this was going to be the go home Raw going into Crown Jewel. They did a great job building that main event, building for Walter's side of trying to get him going as far as that is. We also know all of the other intangibles and things that are going on going in. Raw did a really good job. As far as SmackDown, because if you're building SmackDown and Raw together going in, that was also really good. But even more so, NXT did something that, and this is kind of the complaint that I've had with AEW, is that they don't connect the bridge show, which is Rampage, with Dynamite and Collision. The WWE did a great job with what they did in building Rhea Ripley, and Rhea Ripley going in, getting jumped on NXT after showing up on NXT to kind of help put over Zarya, who is a new new person that they've acquired that's going to be in NXT, also from Australia. Rhea showed support, and then what happened after the show, she got jumped by the Judgment Day, most notably Liv Morgan, with a baseball bat. And if you saw her face bloodied and beaten up and scarred, there was kind of a reason for that, which was interesting. But they did a good job in keeping that at the forefront, connecting NXT with Raw and then also with SmackDown going forward. And that's something that they did a really good job with.
Oh, very true. I felt that, whether it's an injury angle or maybe Rhea may be legit hurt, time will tell. But the angle was done very well
yes.
in NXT. Thoughts on Halloween Havoc on Sunday, Nate?
I enjoyed Halloween Havoc. I think the way the show went was what I kind of expected, especially with Trick Williams. Knowing that Trick was going in, he had to come out of this stronger by winning. And the way that they drew him in, it was like, this is going to be a Devil's Playground match. Ethan Page is going to show you all of the things that he needed to do to try to win, and it, I believe, elevated Trick to an even higher level than when he went in. And I think that's basically what Ethan Page was there to do. I think they did a tremendous job with that. I'm not going to see any complaints of that going forward. I thoroughly loved the build. I really enjoyed the matches that they had on offer, and it gave that old Halloween Havoc feel that they've done as themed episodes on NXT on over the air cable. They brought it to the PLE and it worked.
Taekwon Nate, sorry for you, but he says Peep's camera is lagging like his heart rate.
Oh, good grief,
Nate, you're really catching L's.
I'm catching strays today. I understand. Yeah,
you know,
go
Nate,
figure.
You know, Nate, I am a man of the people because I represent the people. Hey, who said that? Who said that, Nate? Who the hell said that? You suck. You suck. And you can't even spell right. You suck.
Good grief.
You suck.
I guess right now a lot of people are looking at Dominic in the same light that maybe the opposite way that you see him. Although I personally think they're doing a great job with him. I think that just because you like Dominic, maybe the fans are maybe trying to needle you a little bit. Maybe.
For what? I represent the people. I am the people's choice. Okay? Because there's only one people's choice, and you're looking at him. Your uncle, Triple C. And then we have Nate. So anyway.
Of course.
Nate, so quick question. Before we get to SmackDown, one thing that kind of bothered me. Well, actually, before I get to what bothered me, I will say this. Bubba Ray, I like the angle with him, saying no to Trick as far as teaming up with Trick against Ethan Page and Rich Holland.
Yes.
So I like that he said no. So it built to the end. When eventually, he agreed, and they're going to have a tag team match at, well, they call it the 2300 Arena, but to us wrestling fans, it's the old ECW Arena.
Exactly.
One thing that did bother me, Nate, RVD being in the back, it just seemed to me that Ava, who is the NXT general manager, it's like, well, you see this, old ECW alum and Hall of Famer. Oh well, I'm gonna appear, and it's like, hey, I'm gonna appear at at ECW Arena, which is great. Don't get me wrong, nothing against RVD, but it's like it made it made Ava look weak as a GM. I might be nitpicking, but your thoughts, please.
Yeah, I think that I can understand where you're coming from. If they're trying to make sure that the fans realize the importance of this being at the ECW Arena and bringing that in there. If I think they've made her as strong as she possibly can. I mean, how many chaotic situations have we seen her in the back where she's yelling and screaming and trying to tell people, you're going to do this and you're going to. So maybe on that front, but I think it kind of goes part and parcel with the whole relaxed nature of RVD and letting RVD, well, I'm just going to show up and I'm RVD and that kind of thing. So maybe it kind of fell into what they were trying to do. Yeah, I think it was 420 time when they might have filmed that. But I tell you what, I think it worked within the framework of what they were doing for trying to get the ECW part of it over and showing some alums. And I wouldn't be surprised if there were other ECW alums that show up on the show. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're going to have Dawn Marie as a special referee in what is it, the 10-woman tag team match. Right. So she's going to try to get control of the chaos involved on the show. So you sprinkle ECW stars there, former ECW stars, people that have a link to ECW, and then the RVD, he's just relaxed, he's just cool, he's calm, he's collected. You see what I did there? So
there's nothing like Triple C. But again, I am Uncle Triple C.
Of course. He's not as cool as an uncle. Well, there you go.
I like that.
I'm expecting a T-shirt next week. There you go. So there you go.
Maybe I will debut a new merch. You never know.
There you go.
So from NXT to Raw, let's move on to AEW. Nate, listen. as you know, on a personal level, I've always
Yes.
been the one to critique AEW in a negative way. Now,
Yes.
here I am, here saying that this past Wednesday on Dynamite, that was, I could nitpick. There's a lot of things, there was a few things, I should say a lot. There was a couple of things that it did bother me. But overall, I thought that Dynamite was a very solid show. And if I was to
Yes.
give AEW a grade, unlike Dave Meltzer, I'll give AEW a letter grade. I'll say that was a B plus show.
Yes. Very good show. I think that in tuning with that, they did a great job in building up what they've been doing in this continuing angle. As the strength of what they've been doing over the last couple of weeks has been last week on AEW Dynamite, showing you in the opening monologue, showing you the opening vignette, what happened the previous weeks to build into what was going on. But there were also a couple of big matches that involved a lot of talent that we either knew was going to be there or some that showed up that surprised everyone. First of all, the big story of it, outside of what happened at the end of the show, was a title change on Dynamite where Private Party actually won the AEW Tag Team Championships from the Young Bucks. And the whole idea behind it was if the Bucks win, Private Party would have to split up. I think that I don't know if anybody actually thought that one of these two were going to be moved into some sort of singles program or if they saw one of the two getting a push. I don't think that that was the case, but they still came out and had a really good match. And then the chaos that followed afterwards. And then you have, of course, the storyline that happened where we finally got Bobby Lashley in AEW as part of the newer Hurt Business or the Hurt Syndicate or whatever they want to call this group. I like what they did. They had the overrun, which I still to this day, I hate when commentators or broadcasters say, we have the overrun. Like the majority of people don't know what an overrun is. But even if that's the case, you're telegraphing something is going to happen. So just let it happen naturally. We're going to stay with the show as long as possible. And we'll get you the results. If something happens, we're going to stay with it as long as we possibly can. That's all they have to say. But in general, I thought it was a good show.
Don't you miss Tony Schiavone back in the 90s? Folks, we're out of time. We gotta go. We'll see you next week. You know.
Yes.
But listen, overall, like you said, I thought that Dynamite was a very solid show. Like you said, alluding to the tag team title change, I thought that it was very well done.
Yes.
I could have done without the Young Bucks, basically, shaking Private Party's hands.
Yes.
I could have done without that because then it's like, okay, well, 20 minutes later, then you're shredding paper and then you're hightailing out of there.
Yes.
So that's where I was like nitpicking a little bit. Although, listen, Nate, it's funny. I have a good friend of mine that he'll send me some videos and stuff like that. But when I was watching AEW, okay, Darby Allin coming down from the rafters, right? Okay. Now you have him, basically about to get, I guess, choke slam through the table, but the table broke before he was supposed to get choke slam. But again, I am nitpicking, But again, overall, I thought that Dynamite, and you said alluding to it at the end with Bobby Lashley, I thought that was very well done. So I thought of AEW overall, they were a very solid show. I think they did good on Wednesday. Hopefully, it continues on a positive trend. We'll just have to wait and find out.
And the ratings kind of reflected that a little bit. It was a small diminish from the week before.
Before you get to the ratings page, we'll save that for the second half of Saturday afternoon's main event. So, folks, we'll be right back. Peeps Nate, Uncle Triple C, we'll be right back after this for your questions and predictions and Nature's. What, Nate?
Old school.
There you go. We'll be right back after this. Thank you, cameraman. Appreciate that. We're back here on Saturday afternoon's main event. That is, of course, to my right.
That is Peeps Nate once again.
And I am Uncle Triple C here on Saturday afternoon's main event. We will get to your questions. We will get to the crown jewel, the predictions, and all of that. But Nate, please tell them if they want to reach us, if they want to check us out on all our social media platforms. Please, Nate.
Yes, of course. Instagram, X, TikTok, all of those handles are going to be showing up on the screen, but even more so. Saturday afternoon _ main event. That's our Instagram tag. For X, it's at Saturday Main. TikTok is Saturday Afternoons ME. We're also on Twitch. We're on YouTube. Just follow the links. Type in Saturday Afternoons Main Event wherever you can see it on there. For those that are joining us right now, thank you for joining us in our show. We appreciate it. We appreciate the love, the following that you've given us, and we continue to soldier on to make sure that you guys have a great Saturday afternoon heading into Crown Jewel.
100%, Nate. So, Nate, before we get to the questions, Nate, so the ratings, please.
Yes.
Hello.
And the ratings go as follows. AEW's ratings, which were at 637,000 last week, they dropped a little bit to 628,000, but that was actually pretty decent, whereas NXT's ratings dropped a little bit. They were at 588,000. So they did decently, considering they were up against the World Series and going back and forth with that. So yeah. But then again, the ratings monster that has been Monday Night Raw on Monday, they went up against the World Series also, and they did 1.2 million. So they're on another planet with their ratings.
Right. So once again, ratings brought to you by the Peeps Nate.
Yes.
And folks, if you have if you want to check us out, also it's not only just on those handles also, but every once in a while, as Nate is pointing down to, you can always check us on all our social media platforms, and hopefully you guys did enjoy the video that I did drop, which was yesterday. But hopefully you guys check it out, here on Saturday afternoon's main event, Nate.
And a warning: don't watch that clip and drink anything, because literally I almost choked watching it. It was actually entertaining. So yeah. Yes.
What do you mean actually entertaining? Are you trying to take a shot at your uncle?
Why would I do something like that? I've known you long enough. You've known me long enough. So why would I do that?
Well, I don't know. Of course I believe in Joe Hendry. Are you kidding me? I mean, listen, I could play his music right now and start clapping. Of course I believe in Joe Hendry. He is that dude.
The only person that didn't believe in him, apparently, was JBL, who clotheslined him straight to hell, apparently, at Bound for Glory. But hey,
Hey, Nate, you shut your mouth.
Of course.
I want to hear the music.
There you go.
I believe in Joe Hendry. Listen, that is that. You see what kind of producer I have?
Yes.
A great producer. Are you kidding me, Nate?
Yes, there you go.
God. Thank you very much to my producer. Now, Nate, now let's get to the questions, Nate. Every single week, you can drop us a question, and we will guarantee you that we will, put it on our show the following week. So the first question of the day, Nate.
Yes, and this is from longtime viewer Master Sean 007. And he starts off with greetings, gentlemen.
Hey.
And Uncle Triple C. There you go.
Okay, thank
you. There you go.
Okay.
Earlier in the week, I had a crazy thought pop up in my head. Let me share it with you guys and get your opinion. I see within the next couple of years, the WWE, a main event that has a halftime show for the Super Bowl.
As we all know, in the Attitude Era, they had The Rock against Mankind in that.
Yes, halftime heat is what they called it.
Right, halftime heat. There was no crowd. They had the match in an empty arena, and as from my recollection, that was well received because most people or I should say, at least the wrestling fans, they didn't want to watch the halftime shows.
Yes.
Probably at that time, at that year, I don't remember who was performing that year at the Super Bowl, but I know The Rock and Mick Foley, they did great numbers for that halftime show.
Yes, they did. And I think that if you're looking at it from the aspect of an entertainment entity, why not? I mean, you can promote it like they normally do. Talk about it on Raw, talk about it on SmackDown, on NXT. You go onto the web page, you talk about it, and the more that you would talk about it, it would build up interest depending on who's going to be within the match. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like a big name main event style of match, but it could be something that the fans would talk about, and then you would incorporate that into the WWE's social media. Oh, well, we were trending during the Super Bowl, or we had the highest this during this topic here, and this dynamic and this demographic, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if it's all about getting the eyeballs there, that would definitely work. And there's precedence. They've done it before.
Second, thank you, Master Sean 007, for that thoughtful question. Next question of the day, Nate.
Yes, this is from Hot Rod 316, and the question is for Peeps, because he's unfair, unlike the drunken uncle partner of his.
First of all, Nate, once again, you are embarrassing your uncle. Okay, I'm gonna read that damn question to you because Nate, because clearly you can't see. Okay, it says from Hot Rod 316. The question is for you, Nate, because he's fair, unlike that drunken partner, and I'm assuming he's talking about that hot garbage that used to be on this show, Phenomenal One. But he says uncle partner. I don't know who he's talking about. So he says, do you think that Dirty Dom should be the heavyweight champion now since he's a huge star? I'm going to give it to you, Nate. What do you think? And you better answer it correctly, Nate.
Okay. I can see a run with him as world champion. I just can't see it right now. And the reason why I say that is because Walter I think they're going to do with him what he did with the Intercontinental Championship. Obviously, Cody's not losing the belt over on SmackDown, so that's not happening anytime soon. What I can see is if Dominic goes after the Intercontinental Championship and they do that, where they put the belt on him, and then, as you talked about, the greatest North American champion of all time, he could build a program with the IC championship and let that build long enough so that when they kind of clear it at the top, then you can maybe move Dominic in there. I mean, he's got a title shot guaranteed against Walter. So let's see what he does in that match. But can I see him potentially winning a championship? I can see it. I just don't see it happening right now.
What do you mean you can't see it happening right now?
I just don't see it happening.
I don't give a damn what you got to say. Dirty Dom is going to become the next heavyweight champion of this world, and I can't wait under the umbrella of the Uncle Triple C era right here. Hey, what are you drinking? What are you drinking? Stop drinking.
It is water. Water.
I don't care.
Yes. You're going to need some water as excited as you get today. I mean, you might need some. You might be dehydrated by the end of the show at this rate.
Well, that's another topic. Now, anyway, Hot Rod 316, I don't want to say thank you for that question, but you can go to hell. But anyway, our next question, Nate.
Yes, this is from Tombstone City Adam. There seems to have been talks with WWE for John Cena to win the title at WrestleMania. It's title number 17, which I do not want to see. But hey, that's just what it is. Do they pull the trigger and do it? And if not, should they ever? Well, I'll throw that one to you, and then I'll piggyback off of that one.
Okay. John Cena has been a staple for WWE for the past 2 decades.
Yes.
If there's a guy that you would pull the trigger, it would be John Cena for 17. The way I look at it is like, I kind of go back to what are the most sacred stats in professional wrestling? Ric Flair's 16 title reigns.
Yes.
Undertaker's 21-0 undefeated streak at WrestleMania. Bruno Sammartino holding the title, was it 6-7 years?
Yes.
I'm trying to think of so there's not that many stats that you think of in professional wrestling. So to me, I would like to see it. I mean, I know you're probably going to disagree with me, Nate. I would like to see him get to 17 and have all 17 in one company. Flair is obviously a champion across NWA, WCW, the World Wrestling Federation. So he's been a heavyweight champion in different promotions. So for me, John Cena being a world champion in one company 17 times, I think that would be a great accomplishment, and I have no problems because he is, to me, a WWE lifer. So I don't have no problems with John Cena being 17. Thoughts, please.
Yeah, he's the franchise of the company. He is where Hogan was, and then after Hogan, and you had Rock, you had Austin, you had guys that carried between 5 and 10 year spans of the company. So when the next person was Cena, the person after Cena is Roman Reigns. That's the guy that Vince McMahon kind of built up to be the guy after him. Cena carried the WWE, whether people liked him or not, carried the company. And to win 16 championships, like you said, within the same company, it's unheard of and probably will never happen again. That is, unless they bring back the 24/7 championship. If that's the case, we're going to have a 50-time champion, whoever it will be. But it is what it is. I think Cena winning the belt only for the ceremonial reason of saying that he has been the guy. If anybody would do it and be the first to do it in WWE, it would be Cena. I personally wouldn't want to see that because I don't think he needs it, as evidenced by the fact that he's already established. But if he does win it, then he's going to put someone else over, and that would be the reward by the end of this final year of his run. So if they're going to do something like that, I can see that.
Speaking of Cena, Tombstone City Adam, thank you for that question again. We asked you guys any questions you have. You can always let us know. You can DM us. You can send out the tweet or whatever, and we'll definitely put your questions up next week. So thank you guys for your questions. Nate, I just feel like John Cena to me is the guy to get to 17. We'll see what happens moving forward. But Nate, so that takes care of your questions. Before we get to Crown Jewel and the predictions, Nate, one thing I have to say that is really, truly important. Folks, this is America. This Tuesday, go out and vote, okay? It is your duty to go out and vote. Doesn't matter who you are voting for. Me, I can tell you who I voted for because I think it's very important that you go out and vote, and I'm not trying to sway you into whoever you want to vote, whether it's Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, but to me, the person that I voted for was for me. I voted for myself, Uncle Triple C. That's who I voted for to become.
So that was your right-in vote.
What?
That was your right-in vote. You voted for you.
I wrote myself in, Uncle Triple C, as your next president of the United States of America. Me, your uncle. But this Tuesday, please go out and go vote. It's important.
There you go.
And it is your duty to go out and vote.
Yes. There you go. The PSA from the 3 C's.
There you go. Thank you very much, Nate. Now let's get to Crown Jewel, Nate. So before we get to Crown Jewel, thoughts on SmackDown and the OG Bloodline finally reuniting.
Yes, I absolutely enjoyed it. I thought it was going to be something that was going to be drawn out a little more, but based on how they did it with the dynamic of Jay being in there and basically looking up at Roman, he's like, look, I've made it on my own now. I'm my own man. I'm bigger by myself now, but for this family, you have to treat me with respect. And I think that was kind of where the reconciliation had to go. So when that happened, it's like, look, the second you disrespect me, I'm gone. It can't be the same. So we got, who, yours truly, looking at this show and wondering, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? And as I'm watching, that's when it happened. We had Jimmy throw up his one. We had Jay reluctantly look around, throw up his one. And then, of course, Roman Reigns looked around, drops the mic, and throws up his one. And the building lost their minds. It was almost like Hogan and Savage doing the Mega Powers handshake. It was, you were waiting for it, just right, brother. Yeah, right. Yeah, brother. And it happens. And it worked. And the production of it was the faraway shot from the crowd. And then it backs away. And then you get to see the building swell where everybody's standing up and everybody's cheering. Oh, it was perfect. It was well done, perfectly done. And now we know going into not just Crown Jewel, but potentially going into the War Games for the Survivor Series in Vancouver. That's the main story for this section going forward. I loved it. It was really, really well done.
And you think about it, granted, as everybody knows, SmackDown was taped last week at the Barclays Center. So they did the 2-hour show. Then they did another, hour plus show for SmackDown, which they aired it yesterday. So think about it. People are in the building for over 4 hours. And to get that reaction for the second part of SmackDown, that was unbelievable. And you have to give them, WWE a lot of credit for that. And it was awesome. So kudos to the Bloodline reuniting, whether it's for one time, who knows? But like you said, it could be down the road. We could talk about that maybe, once the story continues to progress. But as far as story progressing, there is a PLE, as Corey alluded to before, blood money.
Yes.
Saudi.
Yes.
So Nate, today, Crown Jewel in about 12 minutes. So the first match, is this your main event, Nate? And is this your main event? Roman Reigns, or I should say just the Bloodline, the OG Bloodline versus Solo Sikoa's Bloodline. So Reigns, the Usos, Jimmy and Jay against Solo, Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga, with Tangaloa serving outside for them. Do you think is this the main event?
In any other place, this would. If this was not in Saudi Arabia, it would. But I think based on the fact that there's so many combustible elements within this match, and knowing that they're going to be doing Walter and Cody Rhodes for this Crown Jewel Championship, I think that they're going to prize that as the main event. So I think that match, unless they flip that and make that first and then make this the main event, I personally think, though, that Roman, I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being the first match, that 6-man tag, that ends up being the first match, just to kind of set the bar for the rest of the show.
I'll say this. If this is the main event, you got to expect The Rock to be there later on today, if this is the main event. Although I do expect the OG Bloodline to win, but I'm kind of pushing for the Solo's Bloodline to win because they need heat, and I think Jimmy should be the one to take the fall. But we'll see what happens. Second match, not in the exact order here, but again, we'll just kind of go through it a little quickly here before we've got 10 minutes to go before Crown Jewel starts. Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, the women's tag team champions, will go up in a 4-way against Damage Control, Kairi and Io Sky, Kairi Sane and Io Sky versus Metaphor, Lash Legend, and Jakara Jackson versus Chelsea Green and Piper Niven in a fatal 4-way. Who do you think is coming out here? Nate? I guess Nature's frozen. Well, I'll say I think champions will stay champions. So I think that the champions will remain tag team champions. The next match, Seth freaking Rollins versus Bronson Reed. This has been, to me, a real good feud. Bronson Reed has been used just, to me, logically as a big man. He has been used impressive. And I think that I would give Bronson the win here against Seth freaking Rollins because Bronson has been the monster to Seth. And I think that, Seth putting over Bronson would not hurt Seth Rollins at all. I think Bronson Reed going over would, to me, solidify Bronson Reed and to eventually get into the world title picture. But we'll see what happens. I think Seth, obviously, they'll put up a good show. The next match, Liv Morgan, the Raw Women's World Champion, versus Nia Jax, who is the SmackDown WWE World Champion. Nate, now that you're back,
yes,
Nate, your internet absolutely sucks, just like you,
yeah.
Nate.
Of course. I got to get that taken care of. So
yeah, I think you do. I pay you handsomely. Okay, Nate? Handsomely.
I understand.
Now, your thoughts on Liv against Nia, and the winner will get the Women's Crown Jewels championship. Your thoughts on who you think is going to win, and do you think Tiffany may cash in also?
I have a feeling that Liv is going to find a way to win this match. I think that the storyline is to keep Liv strong. I think Nia, being the bully that she is what's costing her the reputation of her partner. But at some point, we know that Tiffany Stratton is going to cash in. Will she do it tonight? I think that remains to be seen. I wouldn't be surprised if she does do a cash in, because if she does cash in, I'll put it like this. When Tiffany cashes in, she's going to win the championship. But as far as this goes, I think Liv Morgan is going to end up winning.
Okay, I do agree with you. I think you got to keep Liv strong, considering that, think about it. You have the first couple of WWE, Liv Morgan, and the future world's heavyweight champion, my boy, Dominic Mysterio.
Yes.
As a heavyweight champion, that would be amazing. The ratings would go through the roof, just like the ratings have gone through the roof since Uncle Triple C on the 5th consecutive episode of Same with me at the helm. It's nothing like it.
I understand.
So, and by the way, the Crown Jewels championship will stay in Saudi, to what Triple H said yesterday on the pre-show or whatever, the hype show, whatever that they had.
With all of the security guards around those two championships, I guess I could understand why.
All right. Nate, LA Knight, Andrade, Carmelo Hayes, the triple threat for the WWE US title?
LA Knight. I don't think there's any other way that this goes. It's going to be LA Knight. Yeah, he's going to come out of this on top. It'll be a good match. I just still don't like the fact that Andrade and Carmelo don't have a legitimate 7th match to get this whole thing over with, so that would be the reward, is to get a one-on-one with LA Knight. Because of this, I think LA Knight is going to end up winning the match.
I agree with you. I think LA retains the title, and I think Andrade Carmelo, we're going to run it back one more time to have the final deciding match in the future. Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens has quickly become, he is the heel, and he kind of reminds me of Drew McIntyre a little bit.
Yes.
With the aspect of, like, he is telling the truth, but in his own diabolical way. Your thoughts on who you think is going to win this match, and your thoughts on this program overall?
I like the way it's been built. I like the reality aspect of it. Of Owens, we don't know if he's going to come back. I'm cutting promos in my car. I don't know whether I'm going to be there, and no one knows where he is. And then all of a sudden, at the end of SmackDown yesterday, he came out with a steel chair and cracked Randy Orton in the back of the leg. And then all chaos broke out. So what I think is the case here, I think is the fact that just based on that, to kind of build this and kind of stretch it along, I think Owens is going to end up winning the match, because they have to stretch this out long enough so that the eyes of Randy Orton, who keeps gazing at Cody's championship,
right,
is getting less and less subtle and is becoming more and more pronounced. Although Cody doesn't seemingly notice this, because it's always when his back is turned or he's lacing up his boots. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think Owens tonight ends up winning the match to continue this feud so that they can get another match. So by Survivor Series, they have another proper match involved.
That's fair, Nate. I do agree with you. I think they'll run it back, Randy and KO. And like you said, Randy Orton with the gazing of the eyes of the world title, of the WWE title. That's for down the road between Cody and Randy Orton. Let's get to
Yes.
the men's singles match for the inaugural WWE Crown Jewel Championship. Walter, your World Heavyweight Champion,
Yes.
against Cody Rhodes, the undisputed
Yes.
WWE title champion.
Yes. I'm thinking Walter is going to win this. And I think it's mostly because of who he is and how big he is as a star. I know that the Saudi Arabian, I guess, consulate, if you want to, the entertainment arm in Saudi Arabia would love to have the big grandeur of a WrestleMania feel to this. And that usually means that if this
WrestleMania yesterday.
Yeah, go figure. And if they're gonna, if they want to have the big match feel and that fight to it, that going in, that you're going to have a main event of this caliber, you would think they would have Cody win. Happy ending, everybody goes home happy. But I think that this being the way it is and how important of a match this is, I think that Cody is going to get Walter over in the way that it definitely needs to be done. I think that it makes the most sense. You do not have Walter lose this match. Although it is against Cody, the face of the company, if he loses, he's not going to lose anything over it. But going in, you can then build this for next year. If they so choose to have this as an annual champion, is going to defend it again the next time they go to Saudi. And I think Walter, it makes perfect sense. Maybe they're building another streak where he goes out to Saudi and he starts a long streak of unbeaten matches. And that would work.
I like Walter to win this match. I don't think Cody needs the W. Again, I always call this the Saudi events a glorified house show, but they have done very well, over the past couple of times under Triple H's regime. So I think that Walter will win, and he'll be the Crown Jewel champion. It will not hurt Cody, not one iota. Then you could run that program with Cody and Kevin Owens. So it doesn't to me, not that it don't matter, but I just think that Walter Gunther will win the inaugural Crown Jewel Championship. Well, folks, this will mark the end of Saturday afternoon's main event. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Crown Jewel will be coming up next. Thank you, producer. You hear that song in the background. This what it used to be back in the 80s, in the mid 80s. This is the way we would take it home on Saturday night's main event when you'd watch. But this is Saturday afternoon's main event.
Yes.
For
yours truly, Peeps Nate, and for
Uncle Triple C, saying we came.
We showed up. That's it.
Thank you for the house. Crown Jewel's up next. We'll see you next week.